Where you going?
Famous crew.
That's a lot of shit you packing.
Could be a while. I can't trust her no more, Joe. It's not just one thing. It's everything. Gotten to the point now, I don't know what's bullshit and what ain't. So it all just feel like bullshit to me. You said it yourself that night, Joe. She had me doing something I had no business doing. And even now, I'm starting to realize maybe it was about some other shit anyway. Shit I ain't know at that time. Shit I wish I ain't know now. I still don't know what the fuck it all means, Joe. About her, about me, about anything.
Rock love you, Kanan.
But sometimes, I feel like she used that love to do a whole lot of ill shit. It's like she think that all the fucked up shit she doing gonna be fine if she tell herself she doing it for me. I gotta get the fuck out of here, man.
Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, Season 2, Episode 8, The Cost of Business. Racist Italian man makes it to the hospital after holding up in the pigeon coop.
Should just laid there in the coop, fam, or ran. How long you been doing? Well, he's also an idiot, though. He's also an idiot.
Very much so. Very much so. Rock pulls up on homegirl to give her a warning with Famous watching. She also confirms that Kanan ain't the first young boy that she done pulled up on. She is a serial predator.
Big pedo.
Yes, very much so.
So I felt like this exchange was important, right? Because they're trying to establish a few things to us by showing this relationship with Kanan and what's her name? Palomar. Palomar. And kind of giving you a juxtaposition to Howard and his mother. Because while we acknowledged last week that what Palomar was doing with Kanan was predatory, right? Of course it was. Kanan, in all of his infinite youth, kind of gives a peek into that situation, right? And show how two people can be culpable for something, and still the adult in the room is the one that has the responsibility, and that's how it turns to be predatory.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so Kanan knew full on well what the hell he was doing, what he was getting into, and tried to continue it.
Yeah.
Right? So in that sense, he's not without autonomy. But you can still be victimized even with your autonomy intact. Mm-hmm. Because there's somebody there who has a greater responsibility towards the situation. And in that situation, it was Paloma. For your boy Howard and Rock, while she may have been very willing to the situation at that time, we still don't know. We still don't know the background. It was still on Howard to kind of regulate that and make sure that shit didn't go that way. Now, the interesting thing, the only thing that I feel like they could do to kind of bring all of this home is to have Howard explain that to Kanan, that it was wrong. Because if Howard explains it, then it kind of solidifies the point that there's a greater duty of responsibility on the adult. So we're not getting shit confused. So we're not romanticizing the idea of these relationships.
Yeah.
Right. And I think they've done a good job of that so far. That would just kind of be the last stake to drive it home. Is like, yeah, you know what? We had whatever going on, but I should have known better. Like it was on me. I shouldn't have never let it happen. But then, you know, I'm glad I did, because now I have a son.
Yeah.
You know, I'm glad I did, but
yeah.
Whatever. I don't regret it. However you could say that to make him not feel like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think they've handled the nature of these relationships pretty well. I just don't want it to turn back into Rock trying to blame shift the situation back onto Howard, because again, you can still have culpability without responsibility. I guess you can still have your own autonomy and make your own decisions, But at the end of the day, if you're not in position, if the power dynamics are too stark between you, there's no way for you to be making amicable decisions.
Yeah. Yeah.
The power dynamic is just too off. So I like kind of how they're dancing around that subject a little bit right now.
I agree, and I think the dynamic, as you shown, between Howard's situation with Rock is very similar to Palomar's situation with Kanan. But I also see the dynamic between Kanan pulling away from Rock and trying to force something with Palomar, which I think is also an interesting. Like, the more he pulls away from Rock, it seems to kind of go her way.
He kind of has to fill that void with something.
Yeah.
And so whatever he ultimately ends up trying to put in that place ends up pushing him back towards her.
Yeah.
And that definitely was an example of what happened with Palomar. So.
Mm-hmm. Unique is talking to Marvin about Marco dying on account of Marvin hiring him. Unique plans to bug in his ear to off the racist Italian.
And he should have got to work. Well, he did get to work, kind of, but like he wasn't doing enough.
He was busy with other things.
Sure.
Scrap's mom pulls up on Kanan heavy, like she was the police.
Mm-hmm.
She mentions that she wants to speak to Rock because the streets need a body for Scrap.
Whew, that's going to be an ugly situation coming up for sure. That's kind of one of them things that's festering in the background that you ain't really paying attention to because you don't have the time for it. That's going to cause you a world of hurt, probably when you get out from underneath everything that's going on right now.
Does that lead to something in the season finale?
Maybe. Could be. We'll see. It may not even be this season. It could be next season. But, long game.
Yeah.
Another feather in the hat to the showrunners for Raising Kanan for sure. Long game.
Also interesting that this is now the second mother pulling up, trying to figure out what's going on with, Well, actually, what? Rock pulled up on D-Wiz's mom.
Mm-hmm.
But another mother that Rock is basically ruined.
Made a lot of mamas cry.
Yeah, but it seems to be a strange pattern here. I don't like it. Juke pulls up on LaToya Luckett, but little does she know she's getting jumped in by the church.
Fam, who snitched? How did she find out? She been doing everything. She been doing everything perfect. She been dressing like you. She even went on a date with a boy that she didn't even like.
Maybe that's why. Maybe the boy felt like, you know what, there was something. Nah, because he left.
He left happy.
Yeah.
How did you catch that he was in the room?
Yes.
Fam, you're never getting skins ever again. Would you think you gonna convert her into your bed?
Ooh.
Dog, I'm never talking to you again, ever. It's done. But still, how did they just know?
And it's really weird that every time we see this church, they're talking about this shit.
It's they popped up out of nowhere at Bible study talking about this shit. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden they just knew off top, like, yeah, get her in here. We're gonna have a gay exorcist. That shit was fucking.
I'm trying
nuts.
to make the connection to Juke going to Homeboy's house, Nicole's dad's house, but nope, because it was Howard that went there. There's
like maybe they heard something from around the way, or I don't know, but that seems like hearsay. I wouldn't go and immediately beat my child over what especially if I've been gone for damn 12 years.
Facts. But she's heavy in her faith now, so
popping up, whooping motherfuckers. Like,
right.
Man, what?
Yikes. They definitely went medieval in that whole situation. Like,
shit was nuts. And then the craziest part about it is that I don't think Juke took her I guess nor should she. She didn't take who she is. She didn't take her identity into account when she thought about her mom, like what that would mean in terms of her church life and all of that stuff.
Yeah. The whippings very eerily reminiscent of the whole Roots and Kunta Kinte. That was kind of wild.
He said it was like Kunta Kinte.
Was it not a little bit? A tiny bit.
Shit was fucked. Shit was fucked up. And to think that actually happened to some people is absolutely insane. That
also
people
a fact.
Would let their kids go through something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just nuts.
And in this case, watching it happen.
Yeah. Y'all ain't saying nothing about beating her now. Nah, get your ass on now. Sit in the corner and be quiet. Since you just set all this shit up. You'd invited 20 people in your house to do this exorcism.
You know?
What the hell did you think they was gonna do?
Just sit there and watch some
Some gay porn?
have a good old time, pass the popcorn.
Was nuts. That shit was insane.
That shit was. It really was. Lou pulled up on the radio DJ, and after Lou stuffs a gun in bro's mouth, Ziza lets out this strange Harley Quinn-esque laugh, and I absolutely hate it. I was like, what the hell is this? Why?
Hey man,
why?
she playing her role very well, ain't she?
Oh, I fucking hate it.
She is playing her role very well. Cartier trained her well.
Must have. Speaking of Cartier, Rock and Cartier are on date number 4. Seems that Rock may be able to set
He
up
love that
another
damn restaurant,
play.
fam. We can't
He
go
does.
nowhere else.
You know, that's absolutely wild.
Man, we can't go nowhere else.
He gets special preference here and only here at this restaurant. I eat at the Olive Garden because I get
fam.
great deals here, and you're gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah, we here every night. Damn.
Whew. Yeah, no, they never. You know what? It's probably just cheaper for Power to shoot there, and so they're just like,
I was about to say they only got one place to do a restaurant scene, and that's where it's at.
Seems that Rock may be able to set up another play because Cartier can't keep his mouth shut. Rock might bail out Homeboy's homeboy.
Bruh, I love it. I love it. I'm eating this shit up. Now she acting like Franklin Saint.
Yeah.
Because she gonna slide his whole Maryland spot up out from underneath him. And this is going to, just like the whole, because, again, he could just as easily be like, hey, look, man, just so that we don't have no more misunderstandings and you don't think you got to put your hands on me no more, old girl feed me information and she got my homeboy out. Peace offering. And that'll make his situation with Cartier much better. Because it means, okay, he's loyal. He's still on my string. I can count on that. And now he sniffed out a rat in my midst.
Yep.
That would make everything better for him. But she is taking the risk in doing that to further the relationship with him and putting a kind of a bridge in between him and Cartier. So now if I can go about my business a lot more comfortably with a serious person like you, sounds great. What do we do with him?
Especially if you undercut the prices.
Sounds great. When are we killing Cartier for Reed? When's it happening?
Marvin is trying to find the racist Italian at the hospital. My problem is I don't know that I'm just trying to find my mostly white fucking friend that might have just got shot.
Might have got shot.
I don't know that really hits as a punchline for a stand-up routine. Just wasn't feeling it.
I think, first of all, we're not doing stand-up. Second of all, I don't know what else he was supposed to do because I've never been inquiring about somebody that I needed to be dead and whether or not they were dead.
Fair enough.
But I just felt like randomly calling hospitals and asking them if a white guy was there that got shot in New York probably isn't the best way to go.
No, it's definitely
Probably not the best way to go about that. So I don't know. At very least, I would have been laying low. At very least, I would have been laying low. If I didn't hear about 2 dead Italians and only one, I might just disappear for a little bit.
Yeah.
Might have to. Definitely not going to be walking down the street at night.
Yep. Howard is at the precinct and pulls up on the captain about Burke and succeeds better than he could have imagined.
Fam, I don't know if you just been laid up with Shorty too much, but you probably should have did this about 3-4 episodes ago.
Agreed.
You probably should have did this about 3-4 episodes ago.
Agreed. Captain's already like, yeah, Burke has been fucking up. I don't know
Brush
what's
her
going on
ass
there.
back. Oh, and now apparently the dad is interested in old girl. Mm-hmm. Oh, because he went there.
Yep.
Because he went there and he talked to her.
Mm-hmm.
And now, okay, Howard, okay.
Still should have done this a lot earlier.
I mean, but yeah, I don't feel bad for her because he get off his ass.
Yeah.
You either IA or you not. If you IA, then I guess you're just doing your job. If not, you are annoying as hell.
Yep.
Do your job and look away just like every other cop.
Agreed. Kanan heads to Famous, and Famous tells Kanan everything about the situation between Rock and Palomar. Kanan heads to see Palomar, but she's shook. The nerve of Palomar to say that the situation with Kanan is too complicated.
So
it was complicated from jump.
Yeah, let me get this straight. You knew who his mama was the whole time. It was the only reason you were really interested in him. But now the situation's too complicated?
He's 16.
You thought that you was going to be able to slide in with this little boy and wouldn't nobody go no. And yet you were so free as to let your daughter see it and to continue once she saw it. You just don't make good life decisions.
No,
you don't make good life decisions
at all. Famous went through Kanan's book bag on accident and found the paternity test that Howard gave to him in that envelope.
Yo, fam, where did you come from? You thought it was yours, so you opened up a piece of mail with my name on it? Fuck is wrong with you?
That was a little much.
That's a daddy test, first of all. First of all. A what, Famous?
Yeah.
Take your ass back to school, man. What are you doing?
Yeah, no, that whole exposure there was kind of wild. That's a daddy test. KS, that's you.
So hold on, wait. So you know enough to know what kind of test it is and know who it's about, but not to figure out who MH is. Is that DEFCON? Nigga, does DEFCON have MH as initials?
He could. You never know. We don't know what DEFCON's real name is. But
Okay, I guess that's fair.
But he should
That's
put
fair.
2 and 2 together. Well, I guess maybe he doesn't know Howard's name is Howard.
Malcolm Howard. You don't know it's Malcolm.
Or does he even know that it's Howard?
He knows it's Howard. They know who that cop is. He was around working with
Yeah, I
Rock
guess Kanan probably
before.
would have mentioned Howard.
And
so
as much as he be around, when he around, shit, they
Yeah.
know who that is by now.
That's fair. Yeah, well then, yes, his gears should have been turning. But he's famous, so of course they weren't. Unique pulls up to the Mafia son's funeral, and Huncho wants to know who was involved, which obvious because his son is dead. So, obviously. Zisa asks Lou if he wants to fuck. Bro denies her fast ass. That's when her garbage ass song comes on the radio, and then they fuck, despite denying her.
So it didn't happen in the very beginning scene like we thought it was gonna happen, but they got to it. They definitely got to it. I just feel like she's coming on super duper strong, super duper early.
Yep.
I know there was the slight flirtations in the studio when they first came up there with Cartier and all that other stuff, but like she is like head over heels for this murderer, and I feel like that's a little too easy. Lou, got your nose wide the fuck open. I don't know, man. I don't know when the reveal is gonna happen, but just wait on it because it's coming. It's just coming. As far as the Italian trying to figure out who did what, Unique is an interesting player here in this because he knows what and who and for what reason and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Who does he tip off first? Who does he help? For what reasons? That's going to be a very interesting direction for the Unique character because now he's completely back in the game. Completely. He's a player now.
Well, I think it comes down to whoever benefits him at the right time.
Sure.
He's got 2 teams with information for both of them. Whoever benefits me the most at a certain opportune time, that's who's gonna win out.
Mm-hmm.
So, interesting to say the least. Burke gets called into Captain's office. Howard plays stupid. Cap says to cut the shit with Howard. She's none the wiser about Howard being 2 steps ahead of her.
And I don't even think she left that conversation thinking it was Howard who slowed her down.
I agree. I
don't think so at all.
Which is
So
crazy.
I'm just Burke. There's got to be another folder on your desk right now that needs your attention.
Nope.
Please mind it. Please.
She should. She's not going to.
She's not. Dead or fired. That is her future.
She is definitely hard-headed. So
Dead or fired.
Rock asks about the man down in Maryland. And of course,
in Maryland.
she handles that situation.
Mm-hmm.
She couldn't handle giving Kanan a ride to the new place, though. He had to take the bus for whatever reason. Kanan looking like he'd rather hole up in Palomar's crib, even though he says he's going to Future's crib. Even though he's going to Famous's crib.
Because, man, she still won't come clean. You know he know. He knows you know he knows. And you just won't talk about it.
Yeah. Yep.
You're going to let him being Howard, control what information he gets about y'all's origin, and he's going to be the one who sets the narrative. Even though you're his mom, and you've been there in his life this entire time, you've had all this opportunity to tell him, and you did this all shit about, oh, no more lying, we're going to be together, we're going to tell each other the truth. And you looking right in my fucking pupils and lying to me about some shit you know goddamn well I know you lying about.
Mm-hmm.
Is she just pretending that she didn't see him walking out of his house or what?
Yeah, I'm more so upset that the thing that seems to have drove the seemingly final wedge between them is Palomar, not Howard.
I don't think it was that. I think it was Scrap. I think
That's
it was.
fair.
I think it was
I'll take
Scrappy.
that.
Scrappy and his mom.
I'll take that.
I think
makes sense.
that's the final blow because he was kind of trying to hold on to his mom's explanation about Scrappy and the suicide, and not seeing her not questioning it the way that everyone else in the city is questioning it is making him even more suspicious of her because she keep on lying to him about Howard.
That's fair. So Howard, Palomar, and essentially two brothers to him, D-Wiz and Scrap. Mm-hmm. Enough is enough.
Fam, I don't think Palomar is the the golden goose that you think. Like it was definitely a golden goose for him for the moment, but I don't think he cared as much about that as he did everything else. It was just kind of like a damn, you gonna fuck this up for me too? I had some old buns.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's Howard, Scrap and D-Wiz.
Yeah, sure.
And then that is also amongst this
sure
distrust for Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, it is what it is. She's been lying this whole time, and so it's about time she gets her just due. The Italians know the racist is involved, and they plan to pull up on them.
So listen to me real quick. If I could levy a criticism, if I hear one more nigger before I hear Guido or Guinea, right? We've been very, very, very kitty gloves when we're addressing the Italians in this show, and you let them fly off and say nigga anytime they get an opportunity.
Nigger Queen of Queens is definitely worse than
like
pizza motherfuckers.
It's getting a little. He better die a horrible death, just like Homeboy. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm a little irritated by that because I called it out. Now I can't stop seeing it. I can't stop hearing it. Now, in terms of what needs to happen now, I thought it was pretty clear what he was going to ask for. In this potential meet, I thought it was very clear what he was going to ask for. Is it reasonable? In their world, it is, because that's how they handle disputes so that there's not war. Right? I have a loss. You will have a loss, and if you don't, then, we can go about this a different way. Is it fair in practicality? I don't think so, because your son walked into it willingly. He's a grown-ass man. Unless you got a leash on him or you explicitly tell me not to work with your son, the hitman, I was well within my rights to hire him to do a job for me. I don't have to talk to you if I don't have to. I mean, we'll get to the particulars later, but I don't know.
Say you way ahead of me.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, wow. I know. You just skipped the whole episode.
No, I didn't skip the whole episode. We're getting there.
All right, so Laverne is burning shit in the backyard when Marvin pulls up on her. Turns out that she's giving up on LaToya Luckett after the conversion attempt, which is obvious. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Kanan decides that Howard's is the only place he can go to sleep because Famous ain't picking up or answering the door. The Italians go and ice the racist, which should have been done episodes ago, but here we are.
Yeah.
Juke and Marvin pull up on LaToya Luckett. Marvin calls her out for sinning, and LaToya Luckett slaps fire out of Marvin. Juke gets out, and LaToya Luckett tries to plead her case and fails. The actress playing Juke delivers a hell of a performance here.
For sure. Shout out to Marvin for the growth, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Marvin for the growth, because I think a year ago, he would have put LaToya Luckett's head through the windshield.
Yep. While eating chips.
And then, Juke, it was nice to see her kind of step in, called him dad.
Yep.
You know what I mean? She slid in there and assisted in a situation that may have been handled by Marvin just fine. Like, may have come to a better solution than what happened with him and Juke in the moment. But even still, showing this solidarity. Like, hey, look, I know you got yourself under control, but I'm going to step in because now shit getting out of hand.
Yeah.
LaToya Luckett showing her true colors. It didn't really have nothing to do with Juke's soul or whether or not she was going to get into heaven. It had everything to do with her and the crowd that she was involved in.
Yep.
Just the same way it was over her and who she was involved in when she left Juke in the first place.
Absolutely.
That's always what it was about. It was about her.
True colors, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
A cop saying, "Hey, yo, time to wake up, B," is wild. But Howard wakes up Kanan with toast and orange juice, which is the most pathetic breakfast I think I've ever seen in my life.
So all I got is what you eating. When you having late night sessions with the prosty, you don't have time to grocery shop.
That is a
You know
fact.
what I'm saying?
Yikes. Anyway, Kanan admits that Rock did wrong and then asks for the back door because he's not going to be seen walking out the front door of a cop.
I think he sees himself in him, or at least sees a young Raquel in him. She probably said that to him. So
Yikes.
she probably said them same words at some point.
Yikes.
Hey, yo, where the back door at? I don't want nobody seeing me walk up out of here.
Yeah, for sure.
20 years later. Here's Kanan. Hey, yo, you got a back door or something? I don't want nobody seeing me walking out of here.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That's
definitely
literally.
happened. That definitely happened. She was an informant for him, so yeah.
A very special informant that we're learning about now.
You got that right. Rock is at the grocery store and Burke pulls up. Burke is clearly stupid as shit.
Out of her motherfucking mind. She got her rabbit ass mind.
She is dumb as shit.
Rock got a happy trigger finger, and she would love to put your ass in the Hudson. She would love to.
Don't matter if it's in public or not.
to.
She will put that gun in your temple.
I don't know what the fuck Burke was hoping to get out of that. Like, what do you desperate? You are desperate right now.
Yep.
So I said either fired or dead.
Yeah.
For Burke by the end of the season.
Yep. Juke doesn't want to talk to Marvin yet, but she did call him dad, like we mentioned earlier. So that gives him everything he's wanted all season, literally. He then says he'll hit her or call her, and maybe they'll actually talk soon. At least things are warming up for Juke and Marvin.
It just started to make me feel bad about prospects for Marvin, because whenever they give somebody something good in life and power, it just feels like it's all about to go to shit. And so everything was lining up. LaToya Luckett was gone. Juke was back. They had plans to talk. Man.
That's true. That is true. But I have my theories.
Damn, he getting everything he want. He must about to die.
I have my theories about what happened. We'll talk about that in a second. Kanan admits to Juke that he can't trust Rock about anything, which...
Duh. And why she still trying to... Rock loves you, Kanan. What does that matter at this point? Are you listening to me, man?
No, clearly not.
Shit.
Marvin gets put in between a rock and a hard place, literally. Unique outs the situation. Yeah, I went there. Unique outs the situation as why Boss Baselli wants to meet with Rock. Rock then meets with Hef Boyardee at the bowling alley. Bro demands Marvin has to go, and as much as I want to be on Baselli's side, is this really a reasonable compromise?
I don't think he really wanted to. Well, let me say this. He's offering the option because that's how they do business. I don't think he legitimately expected her to take it, though. Well, and that's evident by,
the fact that he already had Bro on the phone.
Ready to make the call.
Yeah.
Which is still, I know he got that big ass cell phone. Rock, like, get in your Range Rover and get on your car phone and call your brother and be like, hey, yo, I told Vaselli that I wasn't giving you up, so keep your head down or something. You know what I mean?
Simple.
Or send him a page or something. I know communication is not what it is today, so I don't expect people to just be on that wavelength, like, oh, hit him in a cell phone. But
the bowling alley definitely has a payphone. Back in those days.
But then what the best she would have been able to do is page him. Because he's not carrying around that fucking brick in his pocket the way we carry around phones today.
Sure. That is absolutely true. Maybe she didn't have a quarter.
I don't know. It happened relatively fast, so I'm inclined to say it happened before she had a chance to get to him. But
that actually makes sense because then maybe the Italians tailed him to where he went.
Probably it was probably on his ass, and if she would have said yeah, then he was like, fine, it's gonna happen tonight.
Yeah, they would have just been telling him the whole time in case, and then when he sends the word, bow.
Yeah, man. I don't think he actually legitimately expected her to go ahead and give him up.
That would explain his very calm and reasonable demeanor after her denying it.
Sure. Sure.
Otherwise, I'm sure he'd be pissed.
Now, the most interesting thing about this dialogue is probably my favorite part of the episode is where he kind of voices from the audience's perspective, he's talking like us because he's echoed some of the sentiments that we were saying about Rock earlier on in the season, right? Like, what is it with you? Like, all this hyper aggression stuff, trying to posture because you're a woman in a man's business. Like, what is that? Like, and she sets him straight and tells him, hey, look, man, I posture because that's what I do, not because you have a dick. I can take that.
Yeah.
I can take that. Now, that's your burning flag. That I can take because that's a human being talking and not a slogan.
For sure.
You know what I mean? That's a real life, relatable person that I can connect to even as a man and not some poster, some rallying cry for people who don't even watch this show. So, like, I really enjoyed that part of the dialogue, and it made her seem strong. It did. It made her seem in control. So, damn. I think they got my nigga Marvin, man. Before
we get there,
Jesus.
Crown's body gets found by the police.
Oh, yeah. The Fat Lady's going to be the last song you sing.
Yep. Which is interesting. So, we'll see how that comes in and tears up Lou's situation. But
I don't think he ever expected Crown to stay buried forever. I mean, he dropped him on a beach. So.
Right.
All right, we'll see what his next move is. Hopefully he don't run the Cartier.
We'll see. Finally, Marvin pulls up on Renee, and I've said pulls up entirely too many times this review.
Damn.
Marvin asks for advice for Juke. There you go.
It was all coming together, man.
And because of it, they go on a walk and have a convo, but the Italians go to shoot at Marvin.
Get your fucking car and go where the hell y'all was going?
Yeah, they just, let's just go on a walk.
Trying to be all civil and stuff. Come on. I'm just saying the whole time, man. He over there cheesing, showing all his pearly whites. She giggling and shit. I'm like, man, keep your head down, Marvin. Keep your head on swivel, Marvin. Keep your head on swivel, Marvin. They playing this happy-ass music, Marvin.
Yeah.
Look around these corners, Marvin. You walking past all these doors and stuff. You so light. Please. Alert. Danger. If you could hear the music, you would know it too.
That's hilarious. Yeah, no. First of all, I feel like if the Italians were better at their job, they'd have a better vantage point to kill them. But you know what? I'm not going to go there.
They got him pretty smooth, man.
I don't think
they popped out on him.
I don't think they hit Marvin, which is why I think they edited it the way they did.
It's going to be even more. I don't know, even more tragic, but it's going to be pretty tragic if they hit old girl because then it's going to be like that was his saving grace. That's what was pulling him out of his funk.
But then it's either going to make Marvin
go back to what he was doing before, probably. Being an angry motherfucker because they took away something good from him.
Yeah. Oof. And that probably won't end well.
Yeah,
he'll probably go on a rampage for the Italians and then eventually end up getting shot anyway. So,
bro, damn, they got my nigga Marvin, man.
Yeah, no. But still, they gave him everything prior to that. And for them to just... Either way.
That's power.
That is definitely power. All right. In the next episode, we see Italians ask Unique about Rock's situation, but fails to get anything out of him, which is strange.
I think he's playing chess.
I do too.
If I give it up now, I'm useless. I know you don't like me. I hear you calling us niggas when I get off a little bit of distance. I can hear you screaming it from the elevator shaft.
Absolutely.
As y'all seem to so frequently do.
Yeah.
So, I want to stay useful to both sides to increase my status,
Yeah, no, for sure. Cartier offers to buy into Rock's business. Does she still own a piece of the label? Because then it could be that.
Probably the drug money.
I mean, yeah, it could be. But it also could be something else if she has any kind of interest. But maybe not. I don't think he would tip
his hand that early on that side of things. Maybe he tries to work his way into the drug business.
It could be.
Maybe he's trying to do the same thing to her that she's doing to him, only he late to the party.
Honestly, the only reason I'm being skeptical about that situation is because it's a trailer for the next episode.
Sure.
And they don't ever really want to give us to it straight.
No, they were very sure not to show us anybody crying or
Well, they didn't show Marvin at all.
At all. But also in all of the scenes, it didn't really seem like nobody was like,
Yeah.
But there was one scene that stood out to me. So the last one where Lou is sent to go retaliate.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think that they're going after?
Oh, ooh, yeah.
They obviously can't do the boss because that's a whole nother level of heat that you don't want.
It could be the boss's second hand man, since he would have technically been the one to shoot
trigger
at.
man. Okay.
Yeah. It could be Burke. Probably not though. Probably not.
I don't think it's Burke.
I don't think it is either.
They
Could be anybody, though.
Now if they thinking though, they could kill two birds with one stone and get Burke mixed up in some of that shit with the Italians and let them have it out
Somehow,
some way.
Yep.
Set her up.
And then also, Kanan and Howard have a convo about their newfound situation, I guess. So
Sure.
about
I wonder if that's when the conversation about how that relationship started is going to happen. And then, if it does happen like that, what does Kanan think about his snitch mama?
Yeah.
After everything that just happened with Scrap, well, he doesn't know that Scrap was suspected of being a snitch because she set it up as a suicide, so she don't even know that. But everything she's taught him about the game, how do you go back and tell your son that he was a snitch and you sent the dude that probably, most likely, sent the dude that I thought was my dad for all these years to jail, informing.
Rough. Very rough. Yeah. It's going to set up for a season finale for sure, though. So we'll see. Any other thoughts on episode 8 or episode 9?
That's it for me, man. Give us your thoughts on this week's episode of Raising Kanan, episode 8.
The cost of business.
The cost of business. Make sure you give us your thoughts in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe. Come back next week for episode 9 review.
Absolutely. And make sure you check out our previous episode reviews for not only Raising Kanan, but also Ghost and Force. And make sure you subscribe because we will be talking about Power for the rest of the season and until they stop making spinoffs.
Yeah. Which will probably never.
More than likely.